Hey everybody, long time no see. Oh man, so I was initially asked to moderate this panel, and the Film District people said we want to do something a little bit different this time, and instead of, you know, I've been coming to Comic-Con for 11 years, and I've been in this hall where you guys are, and I will be here this weekend. You know, sometimes when you're in here all day, you can see the movies are just kind of churned out, movie to movie to movie. But the Film District people really wanted to kind of meld both of their films. They have two great movies, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark and Drive. And yeah, so they just felt like it would be better to have a conversation. We're gonna have everybody up here at once, and it'll be an interesting experiment. Hopefully it works out. I think it'll be pretty cool myself. But yeah, I think we're ready for the introduction clip. Let's see what we're in for. No 3D. And of course we have to bring out my evil doppelganger, Guillermo del Toro. Next up is a man who bridges these two great filmmakers, Mr. Ron Perlman. Yeah! We have the lovely Carey Mulligan. And we have Don't Be Afraid of the Dark's director, Troy Nixey. Oh yeah, and we have an Aussie too, I think. You might know him from Memento, Mr. Guy Pearce. Yeah! All right, I think that's everybody. I told you it was gonna.
I apologize for the chair. I hurt my back. I have a bulging disc, and after 40, anything that bulges is welcome. So, you know, I asked for this chair just to support the back.
So Guillermo, this was actually your idea, right? To mix up.
Well, we were having dinner and we were talking about Comic-Con, and I wanted to meet this insane motherfucker. I'm a huge admirer of him. I love the way he shoots. I love the way he thinks. I'm intrigued. Every time I see a movie of his, I'm absolutely inspired. So as a big fan, I said, I would love, no one ever mashes up movies, and I would love to talk to him on stage, you know, and why do the promo crap where you go, hey, yeah, it was great, and we were also fucking happy shooting the movie, you know, like, that was something different. So, you know, we tried it. I hope you like it.
I love Guillermo as well.
In a manly way.
Now, everybody on here has seen the other movie, right? So all the Drive people have seen Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, and all the Don't Be Afraid of the Dark people have seen Drive, yeah?
Yeah.
So, be honest, what do you guys think?
It's awesome.
I fucking love it.
Ours is better. Ours is much better.
He did, amongst the many things that he did that I'm amazed at, because his work is it's a combination of the cerebral and the emotional in a way that is unique, frankly, in a way that makes it's like a high wire act. But one of the things he did was, Ron Perlman is like my brother. I've never been scared of him in any fucking movie, ever. In this movie, I was creeped out. I didn't want to go to Nino's Pizzeria ever. Ever.
Well, I mean, look, the film that they have here, Don't Be Afraid of the Dark, is you know, what's interesting in terms of what's happening in cinema and the evolution of cinema is that genre filmmaking, where Guillermo is very much a forerunner, has taken the toll of progressive cinema. You know, where in the 60s, progressive cinema was very political in terms of how it was made and thought out. Now, progressive cinema has really become the new genre films. And I don't know if you've seen it yet, but Fear the Dark is a great example of mixing poetry and cinema and commercialism, which essentially is what great filmmaking is. So it's a great ride, and it's very rare that people take chances in genre movies because it's such a formulated product. But again, it's a unique example of very clever filmmaking, and especially when you know Guillermo's earlier works, I begin to see a pattern. It's like I'm looking into his house or his brain, and it's always a very familiar surrounding. But what makes fun, it's fun seeing films again, and that's what's most important. That's why we're all here, is because we want to have a great time.
Now, Guillermo, you like to take young filmmakers under your wing, and you like to mentor people. Can you talk a little bit about?
I wear the other end.
Comic-Con, yeah.
Yeah, no, I think that even right now we are preparing in Toronto a gigantic movie called Pacific Rim for Legendary Pictures, and at the same time we're prepping to shoot a small movie with a first-time director, a movie called Mama, and I just had dinner with him last night. We're prepping it. He's shooting on the stage right next to the office, you know. And I think is as much as you can do it is our duty to produce first-time filmmakers, you know, because I think the worst thing that can happen to the genre is if it's only the same voices over and over again. I think that to produce is to learn from new filmmakers if you can.
Well, do you guys want to check out the trailer for Don't Be Afraid of the Dark? Since we're
I do.
Yeah. All right.
It's awesome.
Those little evil bastards in it, they're assholes. Like, that's what I loved about the movie. That like they were like
You mean
like,
anatomically?
Yeah, comically they were just like mean little assholes in the movie. It's like Gremlins.
Well, Troy held very fast and hard about it. The studio at some point wanted them to be slightly bigger and larger and more menacing, but you have your own point of view about that.
Yeah, well, I always thought that it was much scarier. You know, when people get freaked out by a rat or a mouse, there's something inherently creepy about something that can disappear.
He is the man, by the way. He is the fucking man.
Yeah, if you've seen The Proposition, you know just how badass this guy is.
Don't fuck with that guy.
But your role in this movie is really difficult because you kind of have to play the non-believer. Like you have to be a guy that you know the audience is gonna just be sitting there pulling their hair out, going, "Believe the girl, believe her."
Yeah, it was an interesting step to take. I mean, it was firstly, it was probably really the first film really of this genre that I'd delved into. I mean, I'd done Ravenous before, which was a kind of horror-oriented film.
I love that movie.
But a very different style, I guess. But really, on some level, the thing that drew me to it was that he was so cynical. He was so disbelieving of his daughter, which was representative of really what a bad father he kind of was anyway. And so to me it was just this very domestic drama about this girl who seems to have all sorts of issues and I just can't communicate with her, and I'm, you know, obviously tied up with what it is that I'm tied up with, and being too busy and really don't have the time for her. And that any story that she tells me just becomes another sort of more exaggerated version of trying to gain my attention anyway. So it hopefully works as a real element of frustration for the audience, as it does for Bailey's character in the film, who plays my daughter.
Yeah, well, and something that connects these films, besides the filmmaking, which I really like, both films kind of feel like timeless, that they're almost a throwback to a different style of filmmaking. But they also, in that regard, have just amazing casts. I mean, you see a couple of them over here. Yeah, I wonder if you guys could talk a little bit about assembling your cast.
Well, I mean, the cast has always been the most crucial thing of anything in terms of filmmaking, even back to the silent days. You know, back then it was all about the looks, but it still is. But then the voice came in, and that changed many things. But you know, casting is the most crucial thing, and it's the one major headache that you always sit to figure out in terms of who would be right, and who do they want, and who do you want, and who should be doing it. So it's like playing Russian roulette. But I'm sure Guillermo can agree on this. Once you realize that the casting is in place, it's like sex. It's just, it doesn't get any better, because then you know it's gonna be okay. But well, it is like sex, because even when it's bad, it's still good. So in terms of the casting, it's the same thing, and everything you do as a film, see, directing is really easy, guys. It's just inspiring everybody else to give their best, and then you put your name on it. But and so with actors, your job is to help them and support them, and a lot of times leave them alone if they're great actors. And then some of them actors you need to work more with on a personal level, on a social level, but that's essentially, everything comes down to casting, I would say.
Well, Carrie, do you want to talk about what attracted you to this character? I mean, the movie itself is very much it's a unique love story in a way, but your character has you start off look very quietly strong, like you're a single mother, and this man kind of comes into your life. What was it about the story that made you say, hell yeah, I'm going to do this?
It wasn't initially anything to do with the script or the character. It was Nick, and yeah, and I had seen Bronson.
Yeah.
And last August I watched Valhalla Rising. Yeah. And I emailed my agent, and I said, and I hadn't worked in a while, and I emailed him, and I said, I just want to work with someone like Nicolas Winding Refn. And 2 weeks later he said that he was doing Drive, and that, you know, there was a part that I could play. So I went to Nick's house, and I sort of muscled my way into the film. And that was that, really. But then the script and the character and everything was sort of developed between us, because we had to make small changes to the part.
Major small changes.
Major small changes.
But that was also the thing, you know, the minute Carrie walked through the door, it was her. It wasn't, and I'd been casting very aggressively and had met most of what was around Hollywood. And it was very frustrating, because a lot of those people could have played the part, but they weren't right. And the minute she came through the door, inside me was just like, well, there she is. Thank you very much, God. And that was it. So casting is also a lot of times what feels right that you kind of go on.
And also what your wife says.
Well, that is true. I have a very controlling wife at my house. She buys my clothes and stuff as well.
Is that why casting is like sex?
Yes. Very clever guy. Thank you very much. The people from down under. You know, my wife had seen an education, and I hadn't. My mother had seen it, and they said she was really good. I hadn't seen it yet. I haven't seen it, but they said she was really good, and that I should use her, which helped.
Well, I think a lot of these people, unless they went to Cannes, they probably don't know too much about the movie. But
how many of you have seen Drive or heard about it? Well, when it comes out, please see it, and if you're gonna love it, it's absolutely fantastic, and it's a unique experience. It's balls to the wall filmmaking.
Well, they haven't.
Thank you very much.
They haven't released a trailer, but they wanted you guys to be one of the first people to see it. So I think if you cheer loud enough, they might run it. So
let's do it.